Hey, welcome to our fall semester of growth groups. We're so glad that you're joining us today. And in the sermon this past Sunday morning, we were preaching the series, Be a Blessing, and we were talking about blessing God. And the first thing we had to consider is it even possible for us to bless God? I mean, we can't bless God the way that He blesses us. When we bless God, we can't add anything to God, for God is in need of nothing. He's the source of everything. But we are able to bless God, biblically speaking. There is this concept in the Old Testament of blessing the Lord that comes up over and over again, blessing God. And particularly in the Psalms, and particularly we looked at Psalm 103, verse 1, where it says, Bless the Lord, O my soul, and all that is within me, bless his holy name. And the term bless the Lord, O my soul, the Hebrew word for bless there is literally to kneel. And so the concept of submitting oneself unto God, kneeling before the Lord as before like a sovereign or a king, loyalty, submission, bowing down to, is all tied up in the phrase, bless the Lord, O my soul, and all that is within me, bless his holy name. Well, that word bless there is different. It means literally to ascribe or to set apart. So to ascribe and set apart his name would be to worship his name, to reverence his name. So all of this concept of blessing God in the Old Testament, blessing the Lord, it contains this idea of submission, of kneeling, of loyalty, of ascribing and setting apart worship unto his name. So this is all what it means to bless the Lord. And when we hear Jesus say in Matthew chapter 22, verse 37, the first and the great commandment, right, to love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. And we also hear Jesus say in John chapter 14, verse 15, that if you love me, you will obey my commandments. Then we get this picture that if we love God and we want to bless him, that we're able to do so when we submit our entire life unto him, everything that's within us, all of our heart, all of our mind, all of our soul, all of our strength. Some translations, other places, other gospels would say all of your heart, all of your mind, and all of your strength, or all of your heart, all of your soul, and all of your mind. Same concept. This total inward submission unto God, right? That we begin to get a picture that if we want to love God and bless God, that we submit our entire life unto God willingly and worship him with every area of our life. And that would be reminiscent of Romans chapter 12, verse 1, right? That we're to offer our bodies as living sacrifice unto God as our reasonable service, or as our spiritual act of worship, as some translations would say. And so we talked in the sermon about several ways that we could bless God with our entire life, that we dedicate every area of our life to worshiping God and submitting every area of our life unto God. And that's how we bless God. We looked at all the positive, affirmative ways that we can submit our entire life unto God as worship unto him, as an expression of our love. But what we didn't consider in the message on Sunday morning was the flip side of that if we're going to look at every area of our life as being in submission to God, as an offering unto him, as worshiping him, as an expression of our love, that was going to put the Holy Spirit flashlight on some areas of our life that may not be so submitted unto God. That there may be areas of our life where we're not kneeling to the Lordship of Christ. There may be thoughts that we have, or entertainment that we look at, or relationships, the way we relate to people, the way we view people, the way we view money and spend money, all of these different things, ideas and concepts that we may carry in our hearts, things that we want to reserve, like little fortresses of rebellion in our heart, or like little dens of iniquity that, we know they don't belong there, but we choose not to deal with them because either it's too hurtful and painful and we don't want to, so we avoid it, like dark little rooms in the hotel of our heart that we prefer to keep dark and locked, right? Or maybe so that we can sneak off to later and secretly indulge in sin. But when you hear this message about blessing the Lord, with all of our heart, all of our soul, and all of our mind, with every area of our life, here comes Jesus knocking on those little dark rooms of our heart and saying, "Hey, can I come in there? I'd like to forgive you for that and cleanse that out of your life," right? And I find Psalm 51 very helpful in our pursuit of seeking to worship God with our entire life, as that reveals to us areas that may not be submitted unto Him. I like Psalm 51. I want to read it to you here, and then we're going to discuss it in our growth group. Okay, so Psalm 51 reads like this. It says, "Have mercy on me, O God, according to your steadfast love, according to your abundant mercy, blot out my transgressions. Wash me thoroughly from my iniquity and cleanse me from my sin. For I know my transgressions, and my sin is ever before me. Against you only have I sinned and done what is evil in your sight, so that you may be justified in your words and blameless in your judgment. Behold, I was brought forth in iniquity, and in sin did my mother conceive me. Behold, you delight in truth in the inward being, and you teach me wisdom in the secret heart. Purge me with hyssop, and I will be clean. Wash me, and I will be whiter than snow. Let me hear joy and gladness. Let the bones you have broken rejoice. Hide your face from my sins and blot out all my iniquities. Create in me a clean heart, O God, and renew a right spirit within me. Cast me not away from your presence, and take not your Holy Spirit from me. Restore to me the joy of your salvation, and uphold me with a willing spirit. Then I will teach transgressors your ways, and sinners will return to you. Deliver me from blood guiltiness, O God of my salvation, and my tongue will sing aloud of your righteousness. O Lord, open my lips, and my mouth will declare your praise. For you will not delight in sacrifice, or I would give it. You will not be pleased with the burnt offering. The sacrifices of God are a broken spirit, a broken and contrite heart, O God, you will not despise. Do good to Zion in your good pleasure. Build up the walls of Jerusalem. Then you will delight in right sacrifices, in burnt offerings and whole burnt offerings. Then bulls will be offered on your altar. Before I let you discuss this psalm and its implications in your growth group as it pertains to you examining yourself and seeking to bless the Lord in every area of your life, let me just point out to you that once David repented and he had a broken and contrite spirit, a broken and contrite heart, only after he was inwardly submitted to God in every area of his life, then after that he was able to offer right sacrifices to God, able to worship God in the way that he should. Man, that is so good for our life as we seek to bless the Lord with all of our soul, as we seek to bless the Lord with all that is within us, with all of our heart, all of our mind, and all of our soul. So I want you to break for discussion in your growth groups and talk about the implications of Psalm 51 in your life as you seek to bless God. Thanks for watching.